What is up, boys? If you're a beginner online coach with zero experience, I'm going to be breaking down to you on how you can sign your first clients with zero experience and just by leveraging these strategies. I managed to close 3 clients within 2 months of actually starting up this coaching offer, and I was able to charge 3K for one single client. And like I mentioned before, with zero experience. Okay. And one disclaimer I want to give is you need to have some skills. Okay. You need to have some sort of skills, but we're going to get to that very soon in the end of the video. Okay. So the first thing, how do we actually get from no experience to closing 3K deals within 2 months? Because that's the main goal, right? First of all, warm up. And with warm up, I mean making sure that you don't sell to cold leads. And this is what I see so many people do. They think, okay, when I just send cold outreach or when I just reach out to strangers I've never seen before, people will buy from me. And that is not true. What I did with the guys that I actually closed, I warmed them up perfectly. And a funny thing is, I started my coaching offer, what was it, the 10th of May? The 15th of May, I closed my first client. And the reason for that was not because, I didn't know what to do, which technically was true, but I warmed them up in the right way. So what I did, I created a whole Miro board, not a whiteboard, but a Miro board. That's an online board where you can connect all dots, whatever it is. I created a whole Miro board and I literally took a selfie of me saying, yo bro, I'm cooking something big up for you, because we already had a call scheduled, right? But I literally showed this to him. I sent it over to WhatsApp with voice message, yo bro, I'm cooking this shit up. It's gonna be awesome, this and that. And therefore, and this call is literally live on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check it out. It's one of my first ever videos. It's 1.5 hours long, something like that. And you can literally see how unconfident I was on that call compared to now talking to you, right? But yeah, it was funny. It was very funny. I prepared this stuff for him, and this is one part of a warm-up protocol that I always leverage. So what I always do, and within the warm-up protocol is also like the SWTS framework, and this means that you need to make sure that you can smell when you can sell someone. So what I actually did with the first client I signed, I already hopped on one call before with him, before I mentioned this story about me and the whiteboard thing, Miro board thing, right? I've already been on a call with this guy. And the reason for that, and the reason I didn't close him on the first call, is first of all, just lack of confidence. I wasn't confident, this and that. And yeah, I didn't even get that much money out of him. I closed him for 125. But still, within 5 days, I think it's pretty awesome, right? So the reason why I mention this is because in the SWTS framework, I always mention that you need to smell when to sell. And what I mean with this is I've been hopping on multiple calls with multiple people. I mean, multiple calls with one single person just to follow the warm-up protocol. Because when you actually hop on a first call with someone and you just share a lot of value, you just share a lot of insights, it's way easier to eventually sell to these guys and get them to book the second call, all right? Because these guys already trust you, you shared some value and you have actually showed to these guys, okay, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. And this was literally the reaction of the client I closed on the second call on the 15th of May, all right? That's part of the warm-up protocol. And another thing is just keep following up, keep sending messages, keep responding to him, keep asking questions, keep him fucking engaged. Let's just keep with it there, okay? You want to make sure you keep sending messages over in order to actually warm him up, send value, send voice messages, etc., etc. What I did with the first client that I signed, I sent over long voice messages explaining in depth things on how I would do this, how he could implement this. I was able to share a lot of value, okay? The second one is my own trust ecosystem. Now, this is a very interesting part, and this is actually something I leverage for my paid clients as well. It's a ecosystem where everything aligns with each other. So, ecosystem is like it's like a ecosystem where everything aligns with each other, everything lives in a certain area, something like that. So, my trust ecosystem consists about 4 components. The 3 things I always mention is there are 3 main topics in the trust ecosystem. We have being upfront and transparent. We have effort and dedication, and we have expertise. Those are three of the pillars. And then I have a cycle within it. So the cycle, and this is what I didn't leverage for my client though, but what you can leverage easily is when you build trust. So when you leverage the trust ecosystem with the three sentences, with the three components that I just mentioned, the upfront, transparent, the expertise, and the effort and dedication. When you leverage that, you can build trust. With building trust, you can way more easily sign clients because they're warmed up. It's way easier to sign clients because they're warmed up. And when you sign clients, now you can actually focus on delivering, and you can actually get these clients results. And what happens when you get clients good results? Good word of mouth, testimonials. They're going to be happy. They're going to make sure they share this experience with others. And what can you do with testimonials? You can build trust. And that is the cycle that I get my clients through. Okay, so you want to make sure you build trust. That's done by warm up and the three other components. And then you can easily sign clients. Then you can easily deliver insane results, like I did for my client, Kasparas. He was actually the first client that I'm constantly talking about. I generated him over 4K within 40 days, besides the point. But when you deliver insane results, you can get testimonials, and those you are able to leverage for building the trust for your next client. Keep that in mind. Okay, so that's the trust ecosystem. And then we also have the three components under it, the upfront, transparency. So what I did before, I actually had the call with Kasparas on the 15th of May, where I showed the Miro board. I said, hey man, is it okay if I make you an offer, this and that? Let me know if that's cool, this and that. So that was being upfront and transparent about the fact what I want to do, and therefore he knew what to expect. Okay, because let me actually draw you something if I have the space for it. So what I always tell people is you want to make sure people know what to expect. Because for instance, if you have a graph, right? This is the emotion, and this is the time that you're in a call. So time in a call, okay? And what happens when you don't mention the fact you're going to make an offer? What happens then? The emotion from the beginning of the call starts going up, right? And let's say this is like 30 minutes in, this is 30 minutes in, let's say that. But when you make an offer in the 30 minutes, what is going to happen, and it's quite interesting, the emotion is going to drop. And it's not because they don't like the fact that you make an offer, but they see making an offer as something bad, as something negative. And you got to keep this in mind. So what then happens is the emotion is going to be negative. And since it's a bit towards the end of the call, it's going to make sure that people remember the whole conversation as something negative, right? Because the emotion now is pretty low, okay? And let me then show you what it looks like if you actually leverage the being upfront and transparent before a call. So again, we got the graph. I should have to change my marker. Wait a second. Okay, that's cool. We have the graph, we have the time, we have the emotion, right? And okay, so then when you do mention the offer at the beginning of the call, what happens then is it's going to be low. At the beginning of the call, 5-10 minutes, the emotion is going to be low, but then you start building up the trust. You start building up the trust, then you make the offer, because they already knew that you were going to make the offer. So what I always suggest is mention it either before the call or at the beginning of the call, or do both. Both is the best, by the way. Then you mention the offer, it's going down, but still, this is where it ends. It's way more positive than how you would normally do it, okay? It's way more positive in a way of the end of the conversation ends in a positive way. And what happens, and why I'm actually explaining to you this, is we want to make sure that the whole conversation, any conversation or experience, ends in a positive way. Because what happened to me last year in Norway is the whole vacation went completely right. The sun was right, it was nice weather, was hiking, this and that. But the last 3 days, and this is actually the whole reason why I can tell you this story, the last 3 days were actually absolutely terrible. Our car broke down and the whole Norway flooded. You can search it up. It was actually 2 years ago. You can search it up, Norway flooded 2023. And that sucks, right? That sucks. But the reason I'm telling you this is because I remember that vacation as something negative. And the reason for that is because it ended in a negative way. Do you see this? So any experience that ends in a negative way, or any conversation that ends in a negative way, is going to be remembered as something negative in general. And therefore we want to make sure that we sort of eliminate all the type of friction that we could potentially have in a conversation. So if you know, okay, people are not going to like the fact that I'm going to make an offer, well, make sure you mention it before. Okay, it's as simple as that. Damn, there was a lot of talking. I still have 2 more components to cover. So we also have the expertise. Make sure you just look like a G. Let me just go over this real quick. Make sure you look good. You talk like the authority figure. You look like the authority figure, and you think and act like the authority figure. All right. Make sure you keep that in mind for the expertise part. And then we have the effort and dedication. It's always also about the warming up protocol and just making sure you give a lot of free value. And then we actually skip the proof. I'm going to get to that really soon. But the free value part is really important, because the biggest misconception people have is, okay, but if I share too much free value, how the fuck are people going to pay me for my paid value, because I literally shared everything? Keep in mind, people pay for implementation, action, and accountability. If you keep that in mind, it's going to be so much more easy to just share a lot of value, because how are people going to pay you if you just mention only, if I were to cut this video down to 10 seconds of me just saying, buy my program, link in bio, buy my program, link in bio, how are you going to be paying me? I'm sharing you a shit ton of free value, and I'm being fucking transparent and upfront about this. I'm sharing this in order to nurture and warm you up. And you have never seen someone who's telling you this live on a fucking video, right? But I'm sharing so much free value because I know that people pay for implementation and action and accountability. So you want people to, obviously, I can give you everything away for free, but most of the things you're not going to take action. And I'm going to make sure you take action. I'm going to keep you accountable to actually take the action. I'm going to make sure I implement it in your own business, all right? If you want that, make sure to book a call down below. It's really simple, okay? So that's what the free value part is about. And then proof. Do we actually need proof in order to sell? Because this is what I didn't have when I sold my first client with zero experience. This is what I didn't have. I didn't have any type of proof before I actually sold to someone. And obviously proof, it's good. It's very good in order to build more trust, build more credibility, show that you're actually a credible guy. But do we actually need it? In my opinion, not. Because then it also comes down to value, okay? When you're a complete beginner, you won't have the proof in order to show, okay, man, I did this for my clients, I did this. No, because you're a complete beginner with zero experience and you're still looking to sign your first 3 clients. Make sure to book a call down below if you want that shit. But we need to understand that our value can cover for our proof. We need to understand. And yeah, this is also another thing. Let me just get it out of my mind as soon as possible. If people ask you for proof, they're probably not going to be the best clients to work with, because they are still uncertain. They are still a bit skeptical whether or not it's going to work. And therefore, it's just way harder to eventually work with these guys, because these guys are probably going to be a pain in the fucking ass, okay? But now I forgot the other point. Yeah, okay, so value covers for proof. And what I mean with this is if you just leverage the expertise part in the trust ecosystem, where you show that you're the authority figure, where you share value in order to make sure this guy sees you as the authority figure, it is way easier for this guy to see, oh damn, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And therefore you need to have some skills, okay? You need to have some sort of skill. And no, you don't need experience with actually making people money with that certain skill or making people better with that skill. But also you do, because when you have a certain skill, you have experience. And now that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. If you want to be a fitness coach and you have biceps, it is so fucking easy. So easy to sign a client. And basically what I want to tell you the thing in this video is you're overthinking. You're simply overthinking. Oh yeah, but yeah, I've done it for myself. I got some bicep. I could easily teach someone how to get a bicep at the age of 16 because I've done it for myself. Do you see where I'm getting here? It is so simple nowadays. It's not going to be easy, but it's so simple to be an online coach nowadays. Because if you just understand these principles, I don't know, it's going to work out. And especially when you have the last one, where it's basically going to make sure You don't have to be a level 10 in order to teach level 0. And the complete opposite is true. If you're level 10, you cannot teach this level 0. If you're just a level 2 or a level 3, you can teach a level 1 or a level 0. If you're a level 2, you can teach a level... No, if you're a level 4 or 5, you can teach someone who's level 2 or 3, right? You see the cycle, like you just have to be 1, 2, or 3 levels ahead of the person you actually want to be teaching. And therefore, it's just so much easier when you leverage all these ecosystems and trust and proof and whatever it is. When you leverage all that stuff, it is so much more easy to actually close your first 3 clients, and even one for 3K within 2 months with 0 experience. It's as simple as that, man. It is as simple as that, okay? And another thing, this is probably the last part, is, because we left off, I think, with the value covers for your proof. When people need your proof, they're skeptical, not 100% certain, pain in the fucking ass, okay? But you need to change your intention. So this is also when we come back to the warm-up phase where I basically talked about the SWTS. If you change the intention on the first call, because like I mentioned, you want to have 2 calls if you don't see that this guy is 101% convinced on the first call. When you change your intention on the first call with saying, okay, I'm not going to make this guy an offer, I'm just going to give him a shit ton of value and warm this up. And when you then can actually like lay back like this and just spit some value, help him out, this and that, he's going to feel your intention. Because if you overthink, if you show that you're overthinking regarding the whole fact of, oh, I want to make him offer, but I don't know if he's 100% ready, people can feel and see that you're not as confident. People can see and feel that you are hiding something behind your back. And when there's one thing you never want to do, and that's the biggest fucking principle in the trust ecosystem, be upfront, be transparent, and never hide shit behind your back, because that is never going to benefit you in the future. If someone asks for the price, say the price. If someone asks for something, just fucking say it. Never try to hide things behind your back. And this is what I see so many people do, right? Because Iman Gadzhi, and now here we go again, ranting about Iman Gadzhi. But this guy sells courses on how to create a digital product. But what he's not telling you is how to do the marketing for the digital product, how to actually set things up, how to build, how to do anything. He's hiding things behind his back. And the reason he can do that, and I'm going to be 100% transparent because I'm not hiding anything behind my back, is because he got the personal brand in order to launch a fucking business successfully within one single day. He got the personal brand, and he's not telling you to actually, how to do the marketing when it comes down to starting an agency, okay? You want to make sure you do what these guys are doing and not what they teach you to do, okay? Make sure you do that. And when you follow these steps, okay, you can easily close your first 3 clients, okay? And maybe even, not maybe, and one for 3K within 2 months with 0 experience, but with a skill. And a skill is something you're already doing right fucking now. If you're on soccer, teach people how to do soccer or football, however you fucking call it. I don't give a fuck. If you're in a gym, teach people how to do workouts in the gym. It is as simple as that. You already got it. You just need to find out, and you need to stop overthinking about this shit. Alright? That was it for this video. See you in the next one. Adios.